Hello, class. I hope that you're having a good week this week. Just wanted to do a quick little video on chapter 2 and discuss some of the things that we have going on this week. This is a unique week. Two modules have been opened, both modules 3 and modules 4. So we have a little bit extra work to do this week. Hopefully we can keep up the great discussions that happened last week from chapter 1. I thought you guys did a really, really good job with those chapter 1 discussions. I really enjoyed reading them. I thought you guys, you're really hitting the nail on the head with a lot of those things. And I really do appreciate that. Keep in mind, though, that the earlier in the week that you post, the more type of uh, interaction you guys can have. I mean, think about it. If we were in a class, if we were in an actual classroom, we would be having that discussion face to face. So, the more people there, the better the discussion. One thing I did want to mention real quick, I'm getting some distressed emails from some of you guys in terms of what is due every week. One of the aspects that I have added to this course is at the bottom of every module, you will see that there's a checklist. And most checklists are 2, 3, 4 things long, and they need to, you need to and to ensure that everything is done for that week, just go through that checklist at the bottom, on the bottom of the module opening. That will help to make sure it'll kind of keep you on track a little bit of what you need to do for the week and get those things taken care of. So please use that to your advantage. I put that there for a reason, and that's one to try to help you guys. I know we're in a faster pace, so that checklist is really something that should be important to you as we move forward. I cannot stress enough, guys, that you cannot email me assignments. You need to make sure that the assignments get put into the appropriate Dropbox. If you accidentally put something into an incorrect Dropbox, I cannot move it. That is a system thing. I've asked. So I will need you to, if you get an email from me, I need you to go back in and resubmit that. Some of you I've reached out to when you filled out your health history forms through Adobe. The Adobe did not save correctly. So when you uploaded the document to the Dropbox, it uploaded as a blank document. If you have an electronic version of the textbook and you use Adobe to complete your assignments, I cannot stress enough, please, please, please make sure that you uploaded a file that includes the work that you put into it. Please check your Dropbox submissions when you go in. I cannot stress that enough. Guys, I'm not a mind reader. I don't mean this negatively or meanly, but I can't grade things that are blank. And I can't use that information to my advantage. So I need you guys to make sure that what you're putting in to the Dropbox is completed appropriately. So with that, in the syllabus, you will notice for your first writing assignment, there are specific guidelines that I would like you to follow. I'll be somewhat lenient with the first one. However, you need to make sure that all the necessary components are there, and that is included. Also, please make sure that you are using the updated syllabus. If you printed off the one that I originally included in the course at the start of May 22nd, as of the end of last week, I have updated the syllabus with the appropriate amount of points for the grading system and have added some other things in there so please make sure that you are using the appropriate syllabus. As always, guys, please feel free to email me if you have any questions. I will be running office hours tomorrow morning, Tuesday, the 6th from 9 to 9:30. I'm sorry, 10:45 to 11:15. And I'll also be running office hours Thursday evening from 9 to 9:30 p.m. Starting Wednesday, I will always have my Hangout up. So please feel free to, when you log into your Google Hangout, your Google account is associated with your hack email that you can do and get in contact that way. Right now, on to chapter 2 for the week. So, chapter 2, principles of physical fitness. Okay, so we're going to look at a couple things here this week as we go through, which are going to help us kind of lead us into the upcoming weeks as we move through our thing. One thing that I want you to pay particular attention to, and we kind of brought this up a little bit in week one. I believe one of the students in one of the other sections, um, we discussed the uh, physical activity and exercise. And I think that when people look at the difference between physical activity and exercise, they always just associate they kind of use the words interchangeably, very similar to wellness and health. But in actuality, they're not. Exercise is something that's structured. You go to the gym, you work on the treadmill for 30 minutes. Maybe you lift weights, maybe you swim, maybe you do yoga, some type of strict exercise. When I think of physical activity, though, I think of physical activity of things we're doing around the house. So something I did recently for my wife, I built her raised planter gardens outside, the cutting of wood, the carrying wood, the moving of dirt, carrying of dirt bags, things like that. I don't consider that exercise, but it sure as heck is physical activity. Mowing the grass, in the winter, shoveling the driveway, pulling weeds, playing outside with your kids. People don't think of those things as exercise. And I think that's a downfall. I think, granted, it's not exercise. I agree with that statement. However, it is being physically active. And as I said in the previous video, we can, as long as we are elevating our heart rate, which we will go over here in a couple weeks, that's kind of where we're at in terms of determining the intensity of the physical activity. If our heart rate is being elevated, obviously, if we're breaking a sweat, if our respirations are increased, that's going to all increase how our central nervous system tells our heart to react. Obviously, if our respirations are increased, that probably is a good indication that our heart rate is increased as well, which is something that's very important to do as far as terms of activity. So when we look at physical activity, body movement that is carried out by the skeletal muscles and requires energy. Exercise, as I stated, is planned, structured, repetitive movements intended to improve or maintain physical fitness. So that's one of the things that I want you to remember as we go through with this. So when you look at the chart on page figure 2.2 on table 30, this gives you a good indication. So one of the things that we can use to determine the intensity of a workout is something that I refer to as the talk test. The easier it is for you to talk, the less intense the exercise is. So think about it this way. If you're outside, let's say you have a high school age daughter and you're outside and you say, hey, let's go for a walk. And you guys are walking and you're able to hold casual conversation, very similar to how I'm talking on the video right now. That is, so in order to get some type of benefit from that, you would need to do a longer amount. So let's say it takes you an hour to walk 3 miles. Let's just say maybe it wouldn't take you that long, or maybe it would. I don't know. Let's just say it does, just to use the numbers. Okay. So you're using that talk test. So you decide that, so that's one person. The next person, maybe another one of your classmates, goes out and says, okay, look, I'm going to, so you work out. So the first person works an hour. The person who runs says, okay, look, I'm going to run my 3 miles. So maybe the person that runs their 3 miles, they might work out for, say, 40 minutes. Does that mean they'll work out as less? No, it's not less beneficial. But think about how hard it is to hold casual conversation when you are, working when you're running. It's very hard. You're down to maybe 1 or 2 word answers. You're not talking as frequently as you normally would have. So that's something to consider. So use the intensity, that intensity guide on page 30, figure 2.2, to kind of help you guys gauge where you're at with your activity. I can tell you this, you will see the term talk test again, especially sometime around the final. FYI. Okay. All right. How much physical activity is enough? You want to, everyone's answers on this different. One thing that I'm a big proponent of is doing something you like. If you hate to run, please don't go out and be a runner. Find something that you like. If you like to play pickup basketball with your kids, if you like to, maybe you you like to swim, maybe you just want to go ride a bike on the at the and watch a ball game or something on the bike at the gym, something like that. Do something you like. So how much is enough? I think if you're elevating your heart rate for about, 30 to 45 minutes, 4 or 5 times a week, total time, not necessarily days, but through that total time, I think you're doing okay. The one thing that you want to make sure that you don't do, and this happens a lot, especially with people that live a kind of sedentary lifestyle, then all of a sudden they kind of start to go gung ho. What happens is they end up getting injured. They do one or two things. Either they get fatigued because they start to exercise every day, their body just gets physically tired, and they can't do anymore, or they come down with what's called an overuse injury. And a lot of people, the overuse injury is maybe it's especially if you're running a lot, you might have arch problems with your feet. You might have maybe the start of shin splints. You might have some pain and discomfort in your knees and your ankles, just in your joints in general, just because your body's not used to having that stress put on it. So that's one of the things. So you use your body as your guide as far as how much exercise is too much. Cardiorespiratory endurance is something that I want you to focus on. We're going to have a whole chapter on that here coming up in a couple weeks. But cardiorespiratory endurance is the ability of the body to perform prolonged, large muscle, dynamic exercise of moderate to high level of intensity. All right, so cardiorespiratory endurance, that's the cardiovascular system and the respiratory system working together. We kind of need both of them to live. For those of you not in medicine, the obviously the respiratory system brings the oxygen into the body, and transfers that oxygen, the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide with the blood. Then the blood pumps the oxygenated blood out to the areas of the body that needs it. And then the oxygen is used to start certain aspects of an energy cycle that allows muscles to contract, that allows organs to function. The liver to help the liver to help break down enzymes, the stomach to help create stomach acid to digest the food, the peristalsis that happens with the small and large intestines, things like that. So the body uses that oxygen to help get those things jump started a little bit. So that's obviously something that's very important. And endurance is the ability to use it efficiently. Okay, so a good way to determine that is what is your pulse? Normal range for an adult older than 18 is around 60 to 100 beats per minute. Okay. So, the lower you are to that 60, the better. Now, if you're a very physically fit person and your resting pulse rate is 45, please do not be concerned. You know, but if, because you have maybe you have a very good cardiorespiratory endurance. If we were going to check out Michael Phelps and we were going to check his resting heart rate when he is at his peak condition, winning all those Olympic medals, I would imagine that Mr. Phelps is probably somewhere in the potentially even as low as the high 30s, low 40s for his resting heart rate, just because of the sheer volume of stress that he put on his body to train to be such an Olympian. Muscle strength is something that I want you to focus on. Muscle strength is the ability to move low weights. I'm sorry, high weights, low reps, muscle strength. Muscle strength is high weights, low reps. Muscle endurance, however, is low weight, high reps. Again, that is something you will see in a couple weeks as we move down the final. There's also a specific chapter on that as well also. Okay. Flexibility is something we'll discuss. Body composition is something we'll discuss a little bit more. I have some very unique feelings on body composition. We'll have a whole discussion on that as we go through the chapters here in the next couple weeks. Okay. One thing that I really want to focus on, and it starts on page 36 in your book, and that is called the FIT principle. You will see this as a theme throughout the entire book in terms of how the authors of the book help you to figure out how to do each type of exercise be it cardiorespiratory, be it flexibility, be it muscle strength, be it muscle endurance, whatever that might be. They came up with a FIT principle. It's FITT, frequency, intensity, type, and time. Again, this is something else that you will see a couple weeks on the final. If you were going to Google the FIT principle, every once in a while you'll see FIT spelled FITTE. Obviously, FIT, frequency, intensity, type, and time, as well as enjoyment. I'm not going to ask you to do the enjoyment thing. I'm just going to continue to harp on you the fact that, especially if exercise is not something that's in your life right now, to do something again that's enjoyable to you. Do not feel that the only option you have is to go run. If you hate to run, please, please, please do not run. Find something that you like to do that helps get you moving around a little bit. So please pay particular attention to the FIT principle. We're going to see that a lot as we move through the rest of these chapters again. Okay. There's a little bit more information here on goal setting. We discussed that briefly in chapter 1. Just like you to review that as well. Some guidelines for training, how to start out. Again, you want to start slow and build up, especially if you're trying something new. Maybe your goal is you want to run a mile. So the first time you say, okay, look, I'm going to walk the mile. I'm going to walk it as fast as I can. Once I can walk that mile in under 12 minutes, then I'm going to start running it. Okay. So maybe you go to the track, say, okay, I'm going to run every other lap. I'm going to run the straightaways. So you run the straightaways on the second and the fourth lap. So you walk the first, then you run the straightaways on the second, you walk the third, and you run the straightaways on the fourth. And you slowly start to build yourself up as you go through that. So that's something that's, start slow and build yourself up. That's important because the last thing that you want to do is injure yourself. One, for this class, obviously. Two, just for your general well-being, because I know a lot of you guys, you're taking courses, you're family people, you're working full time or part time as you're going to school, and I commend you for that. And I just think that it's something that I'd hate to see an injury hold you guys back from doing something that you want to do. So please, by all means, please make sure that you're taking care of yourselves. I cannot stress enough to you, especially as we go into the summer months here, is hydration. Hydration as we go through. Please make sure that you're drinking enough water during the day, especially during exercise. A good way to determine that you're getting enough water, to take your body weight, divide that by 2. And that's how many ounces you should drink on a daily basis. Some people say 8-ounce glasses. Well, unless you weigh 128 pounds, that's good for you. However, if you weigh a little bit more, you might need to drink a little bit more. At an individual such as myself, at 230 pounds, I need to drink 165 ounces of water every day. So again, that's something that you want to make sure that you're doing, that you're keeping up on. Please make sure that you're maintaining your hydration. Again, that's something that's very important as we go through this entire course, not just this section. Okay. So again, guys, I just wanted to again, as we look through this, please understand what cardiorespiratory endurance is. Please understand what muscle endurance is, what muscle strength is, and the difference between the two of them. Okay. Understand that. Also understand how the FIT principle works. That's vitally important because we will see that in every chapter forward when we discuss cardiovascular endurance, when we discuss muscle strength, when we discuss flexibility. And I'm going to give you a fair warning and insight. You will see a question like that on the final. Again, guys, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to email me. I'm more than welcome. I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions. Again, if you're struggling with the course a little bit as far as where to find things, just spend some time. Spend some time with the portal a little bit with D2L. It's I think once you learn to navigate it, I think it'll become easier for you. The best thing is hit the content at the top of the page, scroll down and highlight content again. And that'll give you everything you need to do for that. That'll give you everything that you have access to so far. Again, utilize the checklists at the bottom, at the end of each section. Okay. Like I said, I put them there for a reason. Please use them. Again, guys, hey, have a great week. Keep up the good discussions. I'm really looking forward to reading them. I'm also looking forward to reading your first papers. All right. Have a great weekend, a great week, guys. And I'll see you next week. Take care.